Furthermore, I'd like to thank the friends and family members in this room, especially their mothers. Mom, thank you. Really. You're the hardest worker I've ever known. And if I could carry half your work ethic, I know that one day I'll make a great physician. Happy belated Mother's Day.
Woo!
And on behalf of all the students in this room, I'd like to apologize and confess something to our families, friends, and mentors. When we told you that we were too tired to go to dinner, to visit, to call, we were never really that tired. We told you that we had to stay in and focus on exams, deadlines, and presentations. I can assure you that half that time is spent on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or in the case of my buddy Brad Lynn, I've seen you on J. Crew and Potter Barn than I've seen you do virtual life. Now, writing a speech is one of the hardest things I've had to do. And as a class, we've all shared common and challenging experiences, such as trying to learn while Dr. Premio's shaky hand through all the structures of the lower extremity on an even shakier projector. Your rest in peace. Waking up for 8 a.m. pathology classes only to fall asleep 20 minutes in. Passing boards part 1 and 2. For some, taking them numerous times, because stealing from students who are already in crippling debt is the MDPMA's favorite pastime, as we know. But perhaps most painstaking, taking multiple medial oblique radiographs for Dr. Pod 30 degrees. It makes no difference. You really just make things difficult for us, right? But for me, writing a speech talked about. I watched every med school graduation speech on YouTube and still had no idea what to say without sounding too preachy or idiotic. After some deep reminiscing, one thing I did conclude was that our medical training really made me push my limits. It forced me to continually adapt, adjust, and refine my limits were. It reminded me of something Bruce Lee, someone who's impacted my life tremendously, once said. Don't get set into one form. Adapt. Build your own. Let it grow. Be like water. Empty your mind, formless, shapeless, like water. And truly, when we arrived, we were shapeless, formless. We were wide-eyed. We were water. Enter years 1 and 2. Academic years. A time when we could still go out drinking and not worry about the consequences. There was anatomy, histology, pharmacology, all classes that at the present we remember nothing about. The expression drinking from a fire hose has never rang truer. Some excelled, some didn't, some took special pills. But one thing is undeniable. Those who made it, those who are sitting in these seats right now, put in the time, the work, the effort to make it this far. Our class started with around 110 people. Today, the 82 of us are all that remain. Overcoming exams, lab practicals, trying to interpret God knows how many Indian and Chinese accents. It's as if the temple just wanted to see how the students would offend learning pathology, tired, hungry, and in a less developed country. At the end of the day, though, it's no small feat that made it this far. Very big feat. Matt Baldwin did. That is well to remind your class. So, ladies and gentlemen, be proud of your accomplishments, just like Matt. 3rd year was the year we had been working so hard to reach. The stage in our lives when we donned the white coat. When we finally transitioned from textbooks and scantrons to scalpels and monofilament tests. I have to admit, I was incredibly nervous upon my first few patient encounters. I could read nails and calluses at a snail's pace, as if it was life and death. But as time passed, the trepidation of being a beginner was replaced with the conviction of being experienced. Nails and calluses became second nature. Punching wounds became more tolerable. And accidentally cutting a patient was easily fixed with some silver nectar. Over time, I even became good at convincing patients that they moved their own foot into the balloon. It was never us. At Temple's Foot and Ankle Institute, we learned by fire. We were pushed past our comfort levels and taught to embrace the grind. But because of the chaos, we sit here today as well-rounded clinicians, a reputation that our school has been known for over the years. So, one day in the nearby future, when you successfully reduce that ankle fracture, or you make that 1 in 100 diagnosis, necrotizing fasciitis, keep your chin up and tell them you went to Temple, and that Temple blood courses through your veins. But, inevitably, when you split open the wrong foot, hastily tell them you went to DMU. No longer be that surprised. Sorry about that. Now, the best way for me to describe my 4th year, as we all had different away experiences, is through a personal vignette. A patient, let's call him Raj, 4-year-old boy. Raj and his family have been flying out to Baltimore, to the Rubin Institute on a monthly basis. This is where my externship was last June. On this particular day, Dr. Herzenberg looked at his patient and told him what they had been waiting to hear for the entirety of Raj's young existence. That he had finally overcome his clubfoot deformity, and that his feet, for the very first time, were in full alignment. No need for further casts, braces, or surgery. I'll always remember the look on Raj's mother's face. Joy. Just joy in its most pure and unadulterated form. Young Raj would walk the way he was born to walk for the very first time. He would go to school and not be ostracized by his peers for the braces on his legs. Maybe he'd even be a sprinter in the 2032 Olympics. Who's to say? This thought was overwhelming, and at that point, I cried. Me. I didn't even cry when Simba's father Mufasa fell off the cliff and died in Lion King. But in that moment, experiencing true humanity, its most personal and visceral, my patient's feelings were absolutely contagious. This all happened while rounding with a group of very intelligent yet very stoic residents and fellows, who met my tears with blank stares. The same emotionless, robotic expressions that were maintained when Raj and his family were given life-changing news. I've thought about this moment many times and have come to the conclusion that if you allow it, residency has a tendency of stripping you of your humanity. Ironically, the same humanity that forced you to pursue this vocation in the first place. Our greatest fear as doctors is losing. Fearing that you will lose control of your patient to insurance companies, fearing that you will lose reimbursement, and fearing that you will lose the respect of those around you. However, the only loss you should be afraid of is losing yourself and your humanity in the process. These next 3 years of residency are going to be incredibly difficult. You will be tired, you will be hungry, your mental fortitude will be challenged, and you will be asked to continue to give more than you ever thought capable. But do not be so jaded to let your professional growth set your capacity to empathize with others, especially with your patients, especially with your fellow trainees a few short years behind you. And if the moment does arise, don't be ashamed to cry. It means you still have a heart. Classmates, the time that we've endured here at Temple have been a tremendous growing process. Look around you to the people who have changed your lives for better or for worse within these last 4 years. This is more than likely the last time we'll be in the same place altogether. We've sadly watched classmates lose family members, joyfully seen babies born, lovers found, friendships fortified. All of us move forward, but some of us are hailing to move back. Don't worry, Dr. Toriano, he did pretty well for himself, and he's well. Our podiatric profession is an elegant and dynamic craft, comprised of as much medicine and surgery as it is knowing the human experience. And just as you should always be expected to ask, do you have a foot fetish, once you tell them that you died? You should always expect to to continue to expand your academic prowess, your clinical acumen, and without reservation, your ability to empathize with others. If I can leave you with one thing today, it's this piece of advice. There are actually humans attached to these feet. Always remember that, because sometimes I really think people forget. Class 2016, we made it! Shout out to my crew, starting from the bottom, and the whole team here. It's been nothing but an honor and a blessing serving as your president for these last few years. I wish you nothing but the best. Stay in touch, keep touching feet, and friends, never forget, be like water, shapeless, always ready to adapt and grow. Thank you, and congratulations.